Hey everyone, welcome back. This is some cedar wood that I picked up off Facebook Marketplace that is really old and really rustic, and I'll be using it this week for my next project. This project is going to be what I will be entering in the Rockler Try That Challenge that Chris from Four Eyes Furniture and Shaun Boyd from Shaun Boyd Made This are putting on with Rockler. That looks great. It's gonna make for a pretty bowl. It's too soft to make anything sturdy out of it. It's very old wood, but it'll be good for a bowl. It was about right here when I realized it would be easier just to take this loop ring off and start over. The top piece was out of alignment and most of the segments were glue starved. And again, I'm blocking most of this shot with my arms. Okay, let's get it on the lathe and get this bottom shaped out, and we'll glue on the next piece. Forgot to record it, but it exploded when I started turning. I think I took too big of a bite, which I didn't think it was taking that big of a bite. But this wood is super brittle. I've tried to use it before. I thought maybe it would work with this, but it's snapping at the glue joints. So I'm gonna try to put these 4 pieces back in, and we'll move on with gluing up more. We'll see. I have to determine the diameter of the next ring, and they need to stick out maybe a half inch to a 1/4 inch, probably a 1/4 inch past this current ring. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide this out, kind of eyeball, then it will look kind of like that. So yeah, that's a good spot. So I'll just slide this over here. Bring that in, and I'll mark this off about right there, and right there. So we'll use those 2 closer tick marks, and what I'll do is I'll take my calipers and I'll measure the distance between here and here. I don't know, let me turn this, maybe you can see a little bit better. I'll zoom in on it. So we're gonna make our outside length right to this mark. And I'll pull that back. And when I cut this next split, they're all cut at the same 8 degrees. And they are all 18 segments on each of the rings. So when I set the jig up with an outside length of this wide, this next ring will set in at that point. So that's what I'm going to do next. Because there's gaps, I'm using different glue than I usually use. I usually use Titebond 3. This time I'm using Titebond all-purpose white. It dries clear. So, and this is just their generic, I'm sure it's their version of Elmer's. But it says it's for wood glue and it's clear. The important thing was I was looking for a clear glue, not one that dries yellow or brown. So. It's not the Quicken Tick. That dries clear too. I probably should have got that because this has taken a while to set. But I wanted to have, I didn't know what I'd need for working times. So. This is the first time I'm doing an fully open segmented piece though. So we'll see how this goes. So now I put this on, give it a little squish-a-rooney. Get down, no. Ah. Fail, fail. No. Ah. It wasn't lined up and I was trying to turn it and it didn't want to turn because it adhered. Greg Davis, if you're watching, this is that video you asked for with issues. That's why it's not turning, because that screw isn't set all the way in. Ah, all right. Now I know. Now I know my nemesis. 20. Screw it, let's go 25. All right, let that sit. That'll dry overnight. Dry overnight, and then I'll turn these inside. Hopefully it won't blow up. I got another one that I'm letting set overnight that I tried to turn earlier that I talked about that came apart. So stick with me. We're gonna get through this. Dang you, Rockler. Dang you, Chris Salomone. Dang you, Shaun Boyd. What's with this try this stuff? Ah! At this point, I've pretty much defined the shape of the lower portion of this bowl, but now I'm just working on blending in the 3 layers together so I can prep it for the 4th layer that's going to go on next. Then you see me check it with my thumb to feel if that transition is nice and smooth. And I mess around to get some more light, and I didn't like the angle. So here I am just adjusting some more, showing you what it looks like, and we should be good to go. Perfect. I've become just a bit gun shy taking these layers out. I just don't want any more pieces to pop off while I'm doing it. Let these dry overnight, and I'll turn the insides tomorrow, and then we'll work on getting the top connected to the base. Well, this is the last layer that I'm getting ready to put in place. I'll glue this one up and let it sit for the next few hours and try to get that finished this evening after it sets. Today's the big day. Let's do this. I'm not gonna lie, I've been very apprehensive about turning this one. I was totally fearful this thing was gonna explode every single time I put a tool on there. Look at the wobble in this. That's part of the reason that the fear of God was put into me. I thought for sure these open segments were just going to fly apart every single time. I'm still always amazed by the scent that these exotic hardwoods have. This sateen smells very spicy. All right. Now,
the sketchiest part of them all.
sketchiest part. Turn the speed down, low and slow, and prick. Back
At
up.
least it's a solid. At least that's a solid ring.
That's not the problem. It's all the open rings behind it.
Yeah, but you're not touching the open rings, or do you just have to go back and touch the open rings?
Oh no, I won't touch the open rings until I put the support back on it. All right, this is probably not the right way to do this, but I don't know another way. I don't have a steady rest. I keep saying I'm gonna build one. And I know if I had one, I could do this properly, but why on earth would I start now when I have so much opportunity to fail in front of me? All right. All right. Got this spinning really slow at about 80 RPM. I picked up this, I don't know, Waco crystal lacquer to finish it with. I've never used this before. I've never done this finish before. So we're giving it a try. Well, there you have it. I think this one turned out amazing. So happy. Figured it was gonna blow up every single time I touched it. It didn't. It is, like I said, this is some old cedar, maple and sateen or bloodwood on the bottom for the base. It's about 10 inches tall, 2 or 3 at the top, 5 at the bottom, 7 at this widest point. All in all, this was a super fun turn. I want to thank Chris Salomone and Shaun and Rockler for putting on the Rockler Try That challenge. Really motivated me to get this one done. So thanks you guys for that inspiration. And there's another YouTuber slash more on Instagram, Scott Mueller. He does some amazing open segmenting, and he really kind of inspired this as well. Anyways, thank you all for hanging out with me this time. I really appreciate it, and go try something.